All right. Welcome to our Headwater Sage podcast. Everyone, this is Brandon Green. I'm very excited to have you on here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
No, I'm happy to be here.
I'm so excited. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read this off because you have some pretty great credentials and I don't want to mess them up. Okay. So we are going to talk to you today about mental health, physical health, spiritual health, and just ask you a few questions, kind of pick your brain. But I'm just going to introduce you first.
Sounds good.
All right. So Brandon is the owner and founder of Pulse Fitness and Training, as well as Pulse Tactical Fitness. With over 20 years of experience in coaching and personal training, he holds certifications under multiple nationally accredited systems and ACE accredited programs. Brandon is also a co-founder of Body Freedom Coaching, where he emphasizes a balance between mind, body, and spirit. His extensive experience includes serving as a captain with the Baraboo Fire Department, a certified fire academy instructor, and a certified law enforcement instructor. In addition to his practical experience, he has contributed as a writer for the Penwell publications, including Fire Rescue and Firehouse Magazine, and he has presented on health and wellness on the national circuit. With such a rich background, Brandon brings a wealth of knowledge about his fitness, about how fitness can positively impact mental, spiritual, and physical health. So we're going to just dive in with some questions.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
So let's kind of go over your background. What got you into this world in this fitness industry?
For me personally, I think it was a journey, to say the word appropriately. I started young. Fitness was an outlet for me. Lots of anger issues, problems really. Dealing with past traumas in my life was really kind of what spurred aggressive and negative outbursts and legal troubles and all the things that comes along with not really dealing with things that have been in your past. Fitness became that one thing where I was most myself and really able to at first kind of like silence the voices, and then it became to actually like dealing with it, and it became an outlet for me, and I really found the life I was living. I was lucky enough at a young age to find that movement alone. I mean, exercise was just a portion of that, but movement alone allowed me to really get beyond what I thought my cap was and what I was actually capable of one, dealing with, and then later accomplishing in life. That was something that I felt really needed to be shared. I felt very called to share that. It felt very much as a responsibility to share that with others. So that's kind of how it grew. Martial arts was a background for me.
Because of how it made you feel.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I would tell you 100% I would not be here today without exercise. So I felt if it helped me at that level, I knew it was out there for others. And it was my responsibility to be able to share that on multiple platforms. So at that point, exercise was just, it was a lifestyle. And then it grew into, a career, a business, a way of helping people, a way of meeting people. I mean, you and I met through that.
Yeah, you're a big part of the reason I am who I am today. I came from a military background and was looking for a job in the civilian world. And, I was an Army Master Fitness instructor. And I remember walking through Anytime just to get a membership. And you're like,
you want a job?
Do you want a job? And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. And so you've really helped shape the person that I am today. So I just want to say thank you for that. You're a big part of who I am.
I'm grateful. And I'll be 100% honest with you when I talk about you. One of the best hires I've ever made in my career. You are just such a high level person. And I knew that day, the day I met you, I have very rarely offered somebody a job day one.
Yeah,
and I was like, she's going to be great. And you were, and you are. I mean, you've grown in so many different realms beyond just the gym, which is amazing to watch you grow. And I know you're helping people to super high level too. So
I appreciate you.
It's awesome to be a part of that journey, man.
Yeah. And seeing what you do is absolutely incredible. I'm just so excited to, continue on this journey and watch you grow and do all the things that you're doing with all of the different avenues that you're on.
Yeah, so. I can't pick one apparently.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, we have a lot of
that's
different
the
things.
ADD keeping me going, just what avenues can I get into now?
So how are you, so with Pulse Fitness, what is Pulse Fitness and where are you located, and tell me a little bit about the gym.
Yeah, Pulse was born on a dream, and that was really to help people create the best version of themselves. And that looks so different to so many people, right? And one of the things being in the fitness industry, as long as I have, coming from the Gold's Gym world and the Anytime world, and even smaller non-franchise based gyms, finding a space where all of those places could be together in one was kind of the dream, to where you could have a very high-end elite athlete and then somebody that's never exercised a day in their life, both in the same space, both getting the same thing out of it, which is, their own personal development, helping themselves to be better. So Pulse was kind of born on that idea. We're a 10,000 square foot facility. Then we serve all walks of life. We run a Parkinson's program. We run a youth athlete program. We run an elite high-end training program for everything from quality of life to professional athletics to people just trying to improve one rep max, all the way down to somebody that just wants to learn how to exercise and use it as benefit in their life. We have been very successful, and I will accredit all that to my team. They are phenomenal. They are such a strong team that is really geared towards just helping people. And what's so great about it is they all come from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different past experiences, and different passions around training and exercise, and they get to share those at different levels. So having so many people with such a broad spectrum allows us to help at such a high level in multiple arenas. So that team is really what's grown Pulse to be what it is. We are a traditional gym. I mean, it's a 24-hour access, come in, get your workout in, steam rooms, saunas, the whole 9 yards. I've got visions of adding hot tubs, cold plunges, all the stuff, all the things that I like to do.
Biohacking necessities.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I do them all already. So how can I just put them under a roof so that I can use them and, also share them with the community too.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, just continuing to grow, in that realm of helping people is what's really built Pulse, and we'll continue to push Pulse to grow. So everything from online training, personal training, group classes, our group program in the morning is just, they're a tribe, man. Those guys, 5:30 in the morning, they are such a group. A lot of them have been together Tennille's been teaching 17 years now, and some of them have been with her that entire period of time, even since she was at other organizations. Wow. And so that group's really tight knit, but they bring new people in. And then once they come, they are like, man, this is great. This is the most consistent I've stayed. And that program's really grown and taken off. So we're now working with daycares. We go in and do team building and activity based with small age, even below kindergarten up to first grade, working with the schools in the area, doing yoga training for teachers, and then also active yoga for kids, along with just educating and teaching on active movement. And then obviously our support in the tactical world as well. So Pulse is a lot of things, and it's a lot of things, and it's good because of the team that's there.
Yeah, I can attest to. I mean, I've been there a few times, and I live in Reedsburg, so it's hard for me to get to your gym a lot. Yeah. But it's a wonderful atmosphere. You've always created such a good atmosphere wherever you go, whether it's through any time when we were there together, and now with your own gym too. So you're doing really good things.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So how do you define holistic teaching within the realm of fitness, and why is it essential for overall well-being?
Man, such an important question. And we kind of talked about this earlier, holistic, looking at the whole body. And I think in the fitness industry, we're really missing that key point, because I think we focus so much on the body, which is one part of it, right? It's no different than with somebody with an illness only treating the symptoms. I'm not saying anybody's body is an illness, but I'm saying when we look at fitness as just the body, we're missing some of the more major benefits that really come from what exercise can be. And that's just like prescriptions. It needs to be individually based, needs to be structured around that person, that lifestyle, that goal, taking into account a lot of different things. So it's got to be customized basically to what they want to do. But holistic care in the fitness world is really looking at somebody as a whole, their lifestyles, their priorities. What is it that really you want to get out of movement, out of exercise, their obstacles, what their goals are, painting a picture of their future and what's really going to stand in the way of where they're at. And then that's really going to influence what I feel is the most important part, which is the mindset. You in the fitness world, we, again, focus so much on the body. Without the mind, that body is just going to be an empty shell, right? You're only going to get so far. And at some point, your body will tell you need to quit, and your mind will play along if you're not really understanding why you're doing it. Right. Why does this hurt? Why am I continuing? Why am I dealing with this? Why am I, abstaining from certain foods or removing alcohol or drinking more water, whatever it is? It's change. And your body is pre-designed to push you against anything that's change and that feels unsafe. So when we're not really tapping into that, I feel people's, accomplishments are limited. How far they can really go is going to be capped. And when we look at it in a whole setting of mind, body, and soul, that is taken so much further. And it's also where I see people make it a lifestyle versus a hack or a fix or a certain number they want to lose, and then, or, following a certain program for a certain period of time and then falling off. Or I've even seen that with athletes that, they train at a very, very high level. And then when they're done with that athletic sport, it doesn't always translate. I was lucky enough to have an NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver in the gym not too long ago, and he was getting into bodybuilding, and we had known each other as mutual friends, and we were just kind of talking, and I picked on him a little bit. I'm like, dude, you trained with some of the top trainers in the NFL over your career. And like some of this stuff, I guess I assumed you would have already known. And he said, they didn't teach me why or how. It was just what.
Just do.
Yeah. Jump higher, don't get hurt, and, you know, make these catches, make these plays. So for him, it was really a cool experience to like translate that into something that was now a new passion. But I think when we miss the aspect of understanding why we're doing it, that it tends to fade and it struggles to become a lifestyle. We see that even in the military, you know, where sometimes that's the highest capability and the highest performance, highest discipline people have in their lives. And unfortunately, it doesn't translate. And same thing in fire service and law enforcement service. You know, we say the easy way of saying it's like the coolest thing you'll ever do. But there's really important traits in there physically, mentally, and emotionally that can translate to lifestyle if you understand them, if you choose to. So long-winded version, but I think holistic fitness health is really looking at the person as a whole, which like I think you do at an extremely high level. And I think you did it even before you realized you were doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because you were like, there's something missing here. Like the workout is just surface level. This is just baseline. Like there's so much more to a person than what they, you know, are able to verbalize and come up with as like, well, I don't, you know, I want to lose weight. But it normally translates more back to like, I want to feel better about myself.
Right.
And that's so much bigger than a number on a scale. So,
right. Well, and the schooling that I go through right now, like through Ayurveda, it's such a beautiful practice. It's like a very ancient holistic practice out of India. And it's a practice that, you know, it's not an India-based practice. Like they have taken all of the practice from all of the ancient practices all over the world. So they call it the world's healthcare system. It's not India's healthcare system. And it's 5,000 years old. And it talks about like balance, like feeling yourself and what kind of going home to yourself and understanding what health and wellness feels like and joy and bliss feels like to you in a very balanced way. And I think like if we don't add that into our fitness or into our health and wellness routine, it's really easy to just think that, you know, fitness and nutrition is the way to go. And for many, many years, I did think that, like, I just need to focus on fitness. I just need to focus on nutrition. And then I got sick. I got really sick. I'm like, what is wrong with me? And like, your cortisol's through the roof. You have, you know, you have a thyroid issue. You're on the verge of getting a thyroid issue. I had pre-cancer markers. My liver enzymes were high, all these different things. But I was so hyper focused on like pushing myself hard from the military, right? Like
that's what you're taught.
Yeah, push hard, and like just go. And as a woman, like with fragile hormones, and you know, men as well, but women, you know, we have a little bit more fragile hormones. You know, I just kind of like really wreaked havoc on my body and didn't realize what I was doing. And then I ended up working with a holistic doctor, got me into this realm of care and now doing this for a living. But it's powerful and beautiful. And then I know that you guys, you know, you do that in your gym. Like you're teaching people the power of nutrition. You're teaching the people the power of the mind, you know, fitness and like getting out into nature, reconnecting back into nature. Community, like social life, your joy, like all of these things matter. And it's not, you know, you're not healthy just because you eat right and you work out as hard as you can. All of those different modalities that the holistic wheel, it all matters, right? And if one of those things is like lacking, you can really feel out of balance.
Absolutely.
So in Ayurveda, they just, you know, it's like you pay attention, and that's where meditation can come into play for a lot of people. You know, if it's hard to tell people like you should meditate, because you're like, I'm not going to sit there and just, you know, hum and I can't shut my mind off. But it's not about that. It's more about tuning into your energetic body and tuning into your unconscious self so that you can start to feel like, okay, I am a little out of balance here. I maybe do need to add something into this, or just really tune into this so that I can feel the two separate parts of me, my conscious self and my unconscious self. And so I know that you guys do that with your clients, and you do have a holistic health coach with you as well. Isn't Tennille?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And she does a very, I mean, she keeps us very grounded
and
level, you know, in those extremes. And it's great, you know, like a hyperactive mind like mine. I mean, you can talk to me for 30 seconds and know I like to move about 100 miles an hour. So me, I mean, I do meditate in the morning. It's a practice I've really worked hard in. I just do it with active stretching.
Yeah.
And I've learned, I'm like, well, this can translate other. And then I figured if I can learn for a hyperactive mind like mine, there's others that maybe do struggle to just sit still in that moment. And I found that transcendence, that thought process to where my brain, which normally moves at 100 miles an hour, can move at 0 miles an hour and focus on one task, sometimes while in movement. So it doesn't, I mean, I can be still without being still. And I don't think that's for everybody, but like for me, the times I am at most clear with my thought are in that flow state to where time just kind of falls away.
Yeah.
You're not super challenged, but you're not bored. You're, you know, you're right in this middle and feel like whatever you're doing, you could do it forever. Typically I find it on the edge of a snowboard or, you know, riding down a wave on a surfboard or rock climbing or deep into a trail run where every turn, every focus is typically, all of it, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason it's tattooed all over my body. I mean, that's typically where I find that peace and that transcendence to where I'm able to think at a level I very rarely think of. And so my exercise personally, a lot of times supports those activities. Like I want to be able to do those activities as long as I can.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So finding those things that I think other people enjoy to do, how can exercise support those? If you find that state in true, stillness, in softness, in a relaxed state, in a yoga class, like, okay, well, how can I continue to increase my mobility and my flexibility so that I can do even more yoga, right? And I think just having people just navigate that, and the biggest thing, God, the biggest note that I can give for especially coaches like you and I and anybody out there trying to help is ask better questions.
Yeah.
Don't always
true.
have to have an answer. I think a lot of times people come to me looking for an answer, and I really focus on like asking 2, 3, 4 more questions about what they're really looking for before I give any form of advice.
I love that.
That asking better questions really and it translates to yourself.
Because you really, don't you agree that like we all have the answer?
Absolutely.
We have the answer.
Absolutely.
And that's what I do with my health coaching clients too. You know, just ask the dang questions because we all have the answer. We know what the answer is. We just are looking for that quick fix or that, that person to tell us what to do. When in all actuality, all we have to do is tune in. And just maybe dig a little bit deeper.
Maybe you don't want to ask that question.
Yeah,
And when it's you and it's internal, sometimes having a guide along that process,
100%.
I think it surprises people when they're like, oh, you've dealt with depression. And well, of course.
So you've dealt with depression.
Oh, absolutely. And I deal with it every day. I'm winning that battle.
Yeah.
I think
what do you do for yourself with that?
For me, it's exercise, and it's exercise at a level that, may be unhealthy to the untrained eye, but I take a lot of time to really prioritize my
your body.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I found that through breaking it, pushing it too far. But I've also found that, through the mind, so much more is actually capable than it is through the body. And I think that the body is just the vehicle in which I use to kind of quote unquote treat myself. But it can be something as simple as just taking a walk, like going in and just nature, right?
Yeah, nature.
Turning it off and getting involved in that. I mean, you can call it God, the universe, whatever it is, but like if you look at the nature, if you look at jungle, it's variety, right? It's there's constant movement, there's constant flow, there's noise. It's not this like one set box that I think a lot of our population operates in. So I think for me, like getting outside that box and maybe operating in the way that most people don't, it's like, I'm not asking you to do what I do. What I do works for me. But I think what I've learned from what works for me is that if you ask the right questions, you can get anybody outside that box if they're willing to hear the feedback. Right. And I had a high-end psychologist that we were talking through a couple of things, and I always said I hate that statement of like, well, how does that make you feel? Like, I don't really want to talk to somebody that's going to ask me that. Like, I'm a little bit more logical with my approach. And we were deep into a conversation at one point, and she had dropped some things on me that really challenged the way that I thought, but it was things that I already knew. It was just challenging the way that I was thinking about them, and made me think in a different perspective. But it wasn't really anything new. And at one point, I looked at her and I said, you've really, you're a highly intelligent person, but you've really never told me anything that I don't already know.
Yeah.
And she goes, how does that make you feel? So we joked around about it, but the reality is I'm like, there's something here, like helping people and asking at a higher level, different questions really helps to get people outside that box and find what works for them in any of that holistic realm, you know, the mental, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual. So I think for me, it's more practice and understanding proper prescription, if you will, for each person, because what works for me may not work for you. And there's definitely paths that cross. I mean, I can remember workouts that you and I would throw down that are just absolutely massive. And like, we both got something great out of that, right? We're pushing our bodies to the limit, where somebody else that could completely turn them away to the entire process.
And
So,
even like looking back at that too, like even our workouts, like you would crush me with weightlifting and I would crush you with cardio.
yeah,
Like
I'm a little better
we're
now.
not different. Oh, good. We'll see. We'll see.
You spot check me on that
Okay,
one day.
all right,
Let's go on a trail
do it.
run and just see who stops
Okay,
first.
all right, let's do that. Yeah, and so something that I've like really like honed in on for myself in the last 5 years is just remembering that we are nature. Like we are connected to nature because we are nature, right? And so I think a lot of depression, anxiety, a lot of that stems from us being in these boxes, right? From our car to our work, to back into the car, and like never seeing nature, never putting our feet on the grass, never going out into nature and experiencing that for ourselves, and just remembering who we are, like really remembering who we are. What is your take on spirituality? Like what are your beliefs and how do you practice if you do practice?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I operate off three priorities in my entire life and have for probably the last 10 to 15 years, extremely effectively. And it's what I call F3, faith, family, fitness, in that order. So, my faith is tied to God, that I'm called to do what I do. I've been through what I've been through to help others. I am a steward of care, and that is what I truly believe. Every single morning is dedicated to my spirituality before anybody else in my house wakes up. My face is in a book. I'm stretching. I'm thinking. I'm praying. I spend that time every single morning, regardless where I am in this world or whatever time it is. So that's a non-negotiable for me. Also, what I choose to do for a career, as long as I'm called to do that career, I know I'm in the right place, I will continue to do it. The fire service is a perfect example of that. It used to be F4 because fire was in there as well, which I'm extremely passionate about. But my faith taught me that it was my time to move on. And I always personally had this vision of like, well, I'm going to get to a point where physically, like, other guys are maybe able to do more than me, and I'm struggling with something. This is not where I was at when my time was over. Like, I was, what I feel, just even increasing my capabilities and my knowledge level and performing at an extremely high level. But my faith taught me that it was time to prioritize other things and help at different realms, versus in the seat. And so, very tough conversation, tears pouring down my eyes. It's not like pain and sadness weren't involved in that. But it was the right time to move on. So when I say faith is a priority, it will typically direct my actions, above all costs, including my family. So, my family comes second to that. I believe God gave me my family, so that's why God goes first. My children and my partner, it's like that is my core value. Those are the people in which I will strive for, I will grind for, I will hurt for, I will die for. And I put, good, bad, or indifferent, I put my trainers into that. My team is as close to family as it gets, along with my extended family. So those are the people that prioritize my life, and that's
your community.
That's it. And I don't really have a large circle outside of that. I mean, I have close people like you and a few others that I've stayed connected with over the years, and I notice a lot of them are doing the same thing, right? So it's like, those are good connections where you and I could go a year without talking and pick up like it was yesterday. And to me, that's a true friendship. And I'd consider somebody like you family, because it's just like we're bonded in that, And then fitness, like that's a priority that also, for me is spiritual. It is connection. It is treating my body, as it was designed for what I believe, which is a constant state of growth, getting 1% better every single day at no matter what I'm doing and whatever I'm doing, and doing it at an extremely high level. So that translates my faith, my fitness, my family, and my fitness. And that's, again, a long-winded answer, but yes, that spirituality aspect for me is paramount. It is probably the guiding force in my entire life.
That's a beautiful answer. I love that. There's a book by Joe Dispenza called Becoming Supernatural. Have you ever heard of Joe Dispenza? I've
heard the name.
So there's a saying that he says, and it's like, to our listeners who are maybe they're just starting out with their wellness journey, and they're just trying to just be better, but they don't know where to start. He has this this saying that he says, you will be in the predictable future. You are the predictable future. If you continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, if you like the way that you are and you don't want to grow and you don't want to change, just do the same thing. Wake up, have your coffee, go to work, and take the same way to work and do the same thing, and then come home, eat dinner, go to bed, watch your TV, go to bed. But for you said in the morning, my nose is in a book. I'm praying. I'm meditating. I'm stretching. I'm doing these different things. But you are learning something new, and you are not in the predictable future because you are taking the time, you're creating this routine, you have this ritual for yourself, and you are creating this beautiful life for you because you are not doing the same thing. I mean, you're doing a beautiful routine, but you're learning new things. You're doing new things. You're not in this like stuck, take the same way to work, do the same, did you have a cup of coffee? And then I'm going to watch a TV show that doesn't fulfill me, right? And then go to bed and then do it all over again. You are learning new things. You're doing new things. And so I think like for our listeners, try something new, do something new, add something small to your routine, add something small to your ritual, in the morning. Maybe it's putting your feet on the ground in the morning, like maybe it's doing some breathwork exercises. Maybe it's going for a walk, read a new book. Is there anything that you would say to somebody who is just starting out? What could they do to add to the routine to change their life?
Well, I think you have to look at like why people don't make changes. Like I think a lot of people do. It's not a point at why I want to make a change. It's why they walk in our doors. And I'm sorry that the answer is so simple, but it's fear, and it's fear. Fear dictates so many of our actions and our choices. I have no problem with a disciplined lifestyle if it's a life you chose. But I think a lot of people feel like they're in a life they didn't really choose, or it's not the life they want. So choose something different. And I know that sounds so simple, but it's effective. And the way you talk to yourself about it, it's not the sexy motivational answer, but the way you talk to yourself is literally your whole life. So when you say like, I can't do this, or I'm not going to stick with it, or, that is very, very powerful. So when people bite off too much so they can change, I see people, I'm going to change my nutrition, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to exercise 7 days a week. Very rarely is somebody effective in that methodology. We have the 1% and 2%ers that are light switches, and they turn
And why
it on.
is that?
It's too much too fast. And they don't really understand why they're changing it. They think they're supposed to. Well, the life that they're in that they don't like or they don't enjoy is also something that they thought they were supposed to do. And I just choose to live outside that. And I try to coach people on living outside that if it's their choice. And I don't like the word ordinary, but like there's nothing wrong with like going to a job, making money so that you can go home. If your family is your priority number one and you just want to spend as much time as you can and pay for your bills, that's a great life if you chose it.
Right.
But if you didn't chose it, if you felt like it chose you, that's where you need to start making decisions outside that box. And that's where most people are effective starting small. Change one small thing. I'm going to go for like my go for a 30-minute walk every single day. What about a gym? Don't join a gym. What about my nutrition? Don't worry about it.
Right.
I go out on Saturday nights. I don't care.
Yep.
30 minutes, 7 days a week, 21 days. And now it becomes a behavior, right? Like, do you really analyze the benefit? I mean, some of us do that really smell, but who analyzes the benefits of taking a shower? No, you just take a shower. I smell. I need to take a shower, right? So we want activity at first to feel like that, because my personal belief is that movement is the foundation of all of it. Because very rarely any of these things that we're really trying to change don't involve movement. Even with our mind, our neuroplasticity is based on movement. That's where we're recreating new connections. So like base it around movement, but it doesn't have to be traditional strength training or weight loss training or running, or it can just be, like I said, in nature, or it can be taking a walk. So if you can build upon a couple of successes like that, and then people start feeling better, they crave more.
Right.
And then they're like, hey, what else could I do? And then they start not only asking me, but they start asking themselves, how far could I take this? And that's where I typically see people become extremely successful in changing whatever it is that they want to change. I don't judge people. If somebody sits down and says, this is my life, and I'm like, great, are you happy? Yeah, great, keep doing it. But nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right.
So if you're where you need to be, continue to do what you're doing. But if you have something that's telling you you're not where you want to be, or you're missing out, or you're not fulfilled in a certain part of your life, start to focus on it, and then make one small change at a time, and know that it's not going to come overnight. I hate to pick on millennials, but it's like they see this mountain and they're like, oh God, I want to conquer the world. I love the attitude, because I think it's a great attitude to change some of the horrible things that we have in this world. But the next statement is, well, where's the elevator? No, you have to climb it. And it's going to take a lot of ups and downs, and it's going to take a lot of time and commitment. So that's where changing one small thing at a time typically is what I see people do better at. And that fear seems to be mitigated a little bit. It's not quite as scary when you're not changing everything all at once.
Right. And that's what I do with my holistic health coaching clients too. Like it's a minimum of 6 month, a commitment working with a health coach, because it's not a quick fix. It's not, we're not changing everything all at once. We're at, meet them where they're at, bio-individuality, right? No one's the same.
Nobody.
And so it's not like there's not one set program that fits everyone. It's wherever you're at, and we start small. That's exactly what we do. So, all right, I'm going to ask another question.
Go ahead.
So, as the founder of Pulse Tactical, what core principles do you emphasize to help your clients achieve balance among mind, body, and spirit?
Man, I think I don't, in the tactical world is so different from Gen Pop just because of what they're exposed to, right? I mean, you come from that world, you understand that there's just different levels of exposure when it comes to law enforcement, fire, EMS, military. I think it has to be approached a little bit differently. One of the big things I try to do is get in the door and start making, again, some of those small changes. But meeting them where they're at is against normal doctrine when it comes to the tactical world, because everybody needs to meet a standard, right? So you're already introducing a principle that they're not used to. I'm scary. I don't know who you are. I need you to get out of here, right? The lucky thing is, because of my background and because of who I worked with and what I've done in my career, they listen. They'll at least keep the door open, where with a lot of people that are extremely knowledgeable, they won't even let them in the door, because it's like, well, you don't know me and you don't know what I've been through and what I've seen and what I've had to deal with. And it's like, well, they don't have to be able to help you. So I think the first thing I try to do is attack that stigma, because if I can, there's extremely knowledgeable people I can bring in that maybe weren't in the tactical realm, but can help these guys and gals at a very, very high level. So attacking that stigma is like number one, hands down, the very first thing I do with an organization or a person. And then it's just open communication, and it's similar to the general population attack, which is like asking better questions, but I'm asking them in a much different way. I'm giving them a space to, I think, talk in a way that they maybe feel is unhealthy, or a thought process that's challenged them in the past, or a way that they've been told is not manly or not tough or not the tactical mindset, and to be able to share and explain like some of the things that they've been through, that they've gone through, that make them feel like they're not on an island, because having somebody in that world feel alone is like what you really have to get them away from if you want to see progress in that area. So the core principles, again, are based around movement. So it's Pulse Tactical. Yes, it's an exercise process. It's building health and safety programs and physical capability testing and engaging with fire, law enforcement, EMS, military on a physical level. But long term, it's more about developing them as people and knowing that there is life outside of service. That's it for my active duty people. It's kind of dealing with them in the moment and dealing with the environments that they're in. And those that have retired and move on, it's like showing them that there's life outside of it, because a lot of them feel like they don't really have much of an identity outside of that team. And it's like a speeding train. So they're on this train, it gets off, and like they're left at the train station all alone.
How is the success rate for that? Like what are you seeing with the tactical training compared to civilians?
I think, when it's forced, when you talk about the physical aspect, when it's forced and there's capability standards that have to be met, it's pretty high. How many of those translated out to their life outside of there? I think it kind of depends on what the exposure was and like what it did for them outside of their law enforcement, fire, or military career. But it's not as high as you would think it was. Like not everybody that exercised in the military or in fire service or law enforcement service exercises on their own.
I see that.
I'd say it's probably less than half.
And we do this thing through Blake's Tin Man Foundation, Blake's Mindful Memorial Foundation, where we offer breathwork services to law enforcement or first responders. And it's such a beautiful idea, but man, does it take not a lot of bites. Like and it's free. And it's so funny, because it's like I've come from that world, so I'm like, there's this shell. There's a really thick shell, I think, on a lot of these individuals from the things that they've done, they've experienced, but also like the training that they have is, such a, it's just so strict, right? It's so you have to get your stuff done and do these things, and so like adding one more thing to their plate is a hard thing to do. But
you're trying to help them to think, proactively when they're taught to think tactically and respond, right? And so you're changing the mindset, and I think that can be hard. The stigma, especially over the last 5 years, has changed pretty good. We're seeing a lot of like critical stress debriefings being mandatory. Like you're forcing after a critical call, whether it be active shooter or mass casualty, something along those lines, that it's discussed, and then somebody is proctoring it. So it's only the people that were involved in that certain call or incident, and then somebody that's capable and educated enough to proctor that process to where it's discussed, all the way down to things that you probably do in your breath work, like what did you smell? What did you hear? What did you see? It's just kind of coming in tune and dealing with that trauma in front of you. That without a massive foundation in place, I think those things would affect anybody. It doesn't matter how tough or strong you are, right? I was lucky in that side of things. Like again, feeling called to that job and being called by faith, guarded me, protected me, put a shield over me to, yes, it's a normal to see sadness in a horrible incident that you're seeing in front of you when it involves somebody's life, somebody's child, somebody's whole life or possessions or whatever it may be. It's a normal emotion to have that. And like, I think those with the foundation behind it are able to have it and move on from it, where I feel a lot of the tactical world just kind of stuffs it away.
Yeah.
And that's, I had a law enforcement officer told me that day in an in-service, his wife bought him something at home, and as soon as he walks in the door, there's a giant picture that just says, "You are safe." And I think there is something big to that. Like that was the first time I'd heard something like that. And she had actively made a choice to like get him to go from up here to like, okay, we need to bring that down. And
That's really beautiful. I love that.
I think that picture is no different than the exercise that I try to promote that's off-duty exercise. Like it's just, it's an outlet. It's a release. It's a separation from the job and the person. Like you're more than just a firefighter. You're more than just a cop. You're more than just a soldier. It gives them that space to kind of take that breath, if you will, and kind of reset. And I don't think you can do enough of that. So processes like yours, like I wish more people would take advantage of it. We finally got like our ERT, like our SWAT team in the county, and the hostage negotiation team in the county. They typically bring us in once to twice a year to do yoga.
Oh, good.
And Tennille teaches it, and they, it's a lot of joking around and fart noises and like all this stuff. And then like 20 minutes in, I know, right? But then 20 minutes in, it's like silence, and it's it's like the most relaxed I see those guys and gals throughout the day, and they're and they love it. And then some of them even like get to that point where like you can hear light snoring and stuff. They're actually relaxed enough that even amongst their coworkers, they're falling asleep.
Yeah, that's nice.
That for them became a awareness tool. Like at first it was like, well, what can you do? Oh, let's bring Brandon and Tennille in and they can try. Now it's like, hey, can you guys come back?
Some mandatory fun.
Yeah. This is like, we're doing this every year now. And I do that with most of the law enforcement in services, and even in fire in services, I typically bring a yoga aspect to it because I think it's like far left field for them, but like one of the more beneficial things they can do. Like forget exercise. If you're living in this constant tension state, your cortisol's super spiked, and you're constantly in this fight or flight, lifting weights is not necessarily going to be the best idea at that point, right?
Exactly.
So that yoga practice really helps to bridge that gap. And then, all right, they loosen up, they relax up. All right, let's talk about consistent exercise too for, cardiovascular health or weight management or tactical performance, because there's a performance aspect to it too. And that's typically how I get in the door. It's like, well, you got X, Y, and Z going on, or you got 3 out of your 4 claims were lower back injuries, and like we need to train on lifting and stuff. And that's how I talk to city administrators or mayors or fire chiefs and stuff like that. But to the guys, it's like, dude, I'm happy. I'm gonna help you to be happier. I'm happy to be healthier. I don't need to be happier. Are you sure? Tell your face, because you look angry and pissed off all the time. It's part of the job, right? Tell your family that also. And so that is really the mission of Pulse. And again, it's so personalized based on the department. I failed miserably early in that. I was lucky enough to speak nationally and travel and do all these things. But I noticed like I'd come in and speak, and there'd be all this hoorah, and everybody's excited and passionate, and we'd put all these things in place, and a month later they were all gone, and everything was right back. And like I wasn't really changing anything. And if I wasn't there, like actually doing the process on a consistent basis, and I had to go, okay, Brandon, well, you're one person, you can't do all this. So what I really started to do is kind of create champions within the organizations, guys or girls that I'd find somebody like you and say, hey, this is going to be your program. You know your department 10 times better than I do. So I'm just going to be a resource for you. I'm going to come in and help lay these things out, but you're going to run it. This is going to be yours, and you're going to grow
genius.
it.
I like that idea.
And it worked. It really did work, and I should have come on it quicker. It's no different than managing 30 fitness clubs. You can't be it all. You need to have people in place that are kind of taking ownership and have to have a similar mindset in order to see success long-term for the people.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. So with many facing stress in their daily lives, how can a structured fitness routine alleviate that pressure? We've kind of talked about this already, but so like which practices do you recommend for managing stress? Oh
man, I think stretching is probably number one. Again, you got to meet somebody where they're at. Like if this is somebody that's very nimble, low mobility issues, low flexibility issues, we may prescribe, but most people are living in like a tense fight or flight state. We know that from job stress, all those things. Stretching would be foundation number one. Movement would definitely be number two. And that could be as simple as walking, could go to running, trail running, hiking, rock climbing, surfing, cross paddle boarding, whatever movement that also involves, I do involve nature quite a bit. We seem to keep getting back to that, right? Me personally. but also a foundation based around, elevation of the heart rate, blood cycling, all those kind of things. Most people that join a gym want to lose weight. 3 out of 4 that walk in the door, post-COVID, it was more wellness-minded set, but now it's kind of switched back more to this weight loss mindset. And that's good, but I see weight loss more as a byproduct of a wellness journey or wellness life. So I try to coach people kind of into that, and that's more of a long-term approach. So, but strength training, especially for women, as you mentioned, especially with hormonal differences, and as you age very differently than men do.
Yeah.
Strength training is an extremely important component, but there is thousands of different ways that you can strength train. I mean, you can do it from resistive state. You can do it from your body weight. You can do it machines or free weights. I mean, there's a lot. Yoga can be strength training if there's some forms of that. I mean, I've been some of the hardest workouts I've ever done.
I agree.
This hot yoga class, Khrystyna, Tennille took me to this hot yoga class in Madison at one point. It's 90-minute. And I'd never done a hot yoga class. I had literally climbed a mountain the week before. I did a 1,000-foot multi-pitch, 8-hour climb in Red Rocks, right? With a guide, but like we were sending it, right? So I was feeling very accomplished. I get into this room and it's me and like 30 women and Tennille. 10 minutes in, I thought I was going to die. I looked over at Tennille and she was dying. So I was like, I'm not going to make it. This is it. This is how I die, and holy crap, like one of the tough, and I'm used to heat. I'm from Florida. So
right.
This definitely leveled the playing field. And it was definitely like flow-based, strength-based yoga. There was no restoration except the last 3 minutes.
Oh my God.
So we got done and the instructor, super sweet, super knowledgeable, comes over and she knew it was my first experience and said, "Hey, how did it go?" I said, "Ma'am, I climbed a mountain last weekend for 8 hours. Your 90-minute class was probably twice as hard."
Killed me.
So like,
so hard.
again, like any of that strength training aspect, putting load on the muscles, on the bones, on the joints in a healthy way has so many different, the gym is what we know. And I think the gym, depending on the gym, could be a good place because there's coaches, there's people to guide you and kind of find what prescribes best for you, because most people walk in the door with some kind of restriction or injury. But strength training is still a major component to it. It needs to be prescribed correctly. And then the fourth part of that component, the most important, consistency. If you can't continuously do it, don't start it. That sounds a little aggressive, but if you can't consistently keep it, you're not going to keep the results. And the whole point of doing it is for the results, whatever it's adding to your life. So consistency is important, where I typically talk people down on exercise. We were at a national conference last fall, and I was lucky enough to sit with Dr. Ed Laskowski, co-founder of the Mayo Clinic.
Oh, nice.
Super, super knowledgeable guy. His keynote is exercise is medicine. So we were talking through, a couple different things, and Mayo did a study. Most our information in the strength training fitness realm, wellness realm, is based on like obesity and performance. So you've got like athletics on one side and you've got weight loss on another. Why? Because it's where the money is. Not a whole lot of people study heavily without an agenda, Gen Pop. So Mayo did a study for over 10 years on general population and understanding that like the World Health Organization, ACE, World Instructional Training School, NASM, ISS, all the big ones, 150 minutes a week of vigorous exercise. This is the prescription that we give to Gen Pop for healthy, active lifestyles, right? They wanted to identify like why that number, what specifically is happening there. And what they found was that, and that's a 3-day-a-week program. So let's say you just exercise Monday, Wednesday, Friday, okay? They found that more than 70% of the benefits of that 3-day program were got in day one. 70%. So it's not that you don't get benefit from those other 3 days. Now, we're not talking weight loss. We are talking general health benefits. The endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, the reduced risk of cancer and obesity and diabetes and all that. We're talking general health benefits, 70% of them in day one.
Wow.
So when somebody comes in my doors and they're like, "I want to be in the gym 5 days a week." I'm like, "Why? What is it that you're trying? Well, I want to be healthy." You can be healthy at 1 day a week and you have 3 kids at home. You have 2 separate careers. You're going back to school. Like, you coming in the gym 5 days a week is going to take from your circle. So why? If the major benefit is general
Holistic health.
Right. So
yeah.
let's take an approach of 1 day a week. And I'm going to be very systematic with what you do in that 1 day a week. We want to hit the major 5 components of fitness. And then you're going to do that consistently.
Love it.
Guess what? They start feeling better.
Yeah.
And then I got extra time. Great. I can sauna. I can read. I can stretch. I can go on a paddle board for 30 minutes instead of going to the gym and get similar benefits, especially neurologically. So him and I kind of talked. I mean, he's brilliant. All the 3-letter organizations, the NBA, NFL, they all report to him. He now manages their sports medicine team. But another key fact that he told me, he's like, "All right, so this is Mayo Clinic, right? I mean, it was funded by Mayo Clinic, so they're completely independent." He said, "How many of my physicians do you think after this research exercise at least 1 day a week?" The physicians, less than 30%. So this is where I think, especially in our world, we've been lied to. And it's like knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. Application is power. So I
Difference
feel
between knowledge and wisdom.
correct. Yeah. Figuring out how to apply it.
Right.
So that, circling back, it really, that slower approach for most people tends to work better because they're sustainability based. And then they come actually asking for more versus feeling forced to meet a standard.
Right.
Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah. And like, understanding too, like the central nervous system, if we are in this state of stress all the time, it can start to crumble the other systems in our body.
100%.
And so if we're overdoing exercise, that can be an issue as well. But exercise is one of the best medicines for stress reduction and regulating and resetting the central nervous system. And once the central nervous system is in regulation again, is in balance, then your digestive tract is back in balance. Then your endocrine system is back in balance. Like it's just like this little domino effect that just kind of just really helps to get the whole person back into full body wellness.
Right.
Full body system reboot is what it feels like.
Do you hear this a lot? Like because you're in both realms at such a high level. I think some that are brave enough to say it to me, but I think the thought out there is a lot is like, well, it's easy for you. You work in that world. Whether it be for your treatments or whether it be your mindset. That
said this to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if I owned a gym, I could work out all the time. Well, what's stopping you?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like why if it's that much of a priority, why aren't you doing it? But I was curious, like, how do you take that? How do you take, well, it'd be easy for me if I was in your position. I guess I hear and feel that a lot in the, I want to make my life as healthy as possible, whatever that looks like. Well, of course you do. You're in that world. Right.
Well, I mean, you kind of nail it on the head. Like anyone can be in that world. You choose your heart, you choose your life, you choose the way that you live your life. And just like you said, start small. We start small and we can grow from there. And it can just be this big ripple effect, this snowball effect for anyone and everyone who does the 1 day a week.
Right.
And then they start to increase, I started there too. Like, granted, like I joined the military when I was 17. I've been working out since I was 17, like hard. I mean, even when I was younger, but I started somewhere. I started, working out at the high school gym with my ex-boyfriend at like 5 o'clock in the morning and just learning how to lift weights. It was mostly bicep curls because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But,
everybody
it's like,
goes to.
It's just, just starting somewhere. But we started somewhere. It's not like we just did it and just like, this is our life and this is how we do things. No, we started somewhere as well. You can start somewhere as well.
Right.
And you get to be that person that you can have your full authentic self, like be the full person that you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like in India, they call that your dharma, your soul's purpose, right? Like, but we don't really know what it is because this is a whole different tangent, but like we have this light, this prakriti, this person that we are, like this perfect being when we are a child, like a baby. And then we're given a name and a social security card and clothes, and you like the Packers, I like the Cardinals, whatever it might be. And we have these conditions and programs, and this is the food that you eat. This is how we live life. This is the conditioning from your teachers, your government, your country, all of the different things, and then we have to, in our life, we have to start to remove those obstacles and remember who we are again. And remember that we get to choose our life. We get to choose exactly who we are.
Yeah.
But we don't have to listen to all of these different things that told us who we are. We're not all of those things. We're not those things. Somebody told us who we are. And
You've
we
been conditioned to believe that.
Yeah.
Right.
Conditioned and programmed to believe all of these things. To say, it's easy for you because you live that world. You get to be that world. No, it's because I'm doing the work.
Right.
I'm doing the work, and you get to do the work too. You just have to believe in yourself. You have to do that work. And if we don't do that work to remove those conditionings and those programs, you'll never know who you are. You'll never feel your soul, your the person that your prakriti, your light, so that you can know your soul's purpose, your dharma.
Yeah.
So when people say like, how do I get happier? How do I do these things? You have to remove the program. You have to remove the conditioning. You don't have to listen to other people unless it's like someone's teaching you something and you're
right.
listening.
Don't be shut down to learning.
Right. Be open-minded. And so just start somewhere, and so that's coming the long answer, but it is.
And we're both parents. So I forget the data. It's like year 1 to 6. If we all learned the way that we learned from 1 to 6, we'd all be geniuses by like 13 from an intellectual standpoint. And I feel like people, a lot of times in our industries, we're big kids, right? Like, it's oh, well, I see that's how you do it, but like, I want to try this way, or like, let's do this, or like, I can get on the ground and roll around. Like,
experience.
How many 40-year-olds do you know that still roll around on the ground? Like, I'm getting older. But why?
Right.
Like, why? That's a choice, right? And I think a lot of it comes from, that box, that traditional, like you're saying, like you're programmed to be this. And I think helping people to think outside of that, not telling them, but helping them to think outside of that, because like you said before, the answer's inside there somewhere. It's just about asking better questions to get them to like, oh yeah, why couldn't I do that? Like, quit your job. I'm not saying out there, like, don't intentionally put yourself in a position where you're putting negativity in your life, but like, you don't like your job, find something different. Well, that's scary. Of course it is. Well, of course,
I sold my gym in December.
Right.
Like that was a big deal for me. Like,
I knew you were fine.
Yeah.
I knew you were fine.
But that's just me growing, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I were to stay at the CrossFit gym in my town and, do that for the rest of my life, maybe that's perfect for if I was going to grow it and like do different things with it. But there was something in me that I was like, I need to do something a little bit more, something a little bit different. And I am. And it just was fear. Fear stopped me at first, and I was like, I can't do this. I'd cry myself to sleep, and I'm like, I think I'm supposed to do this. And then one day I'm just like, all right, I need to do this. I need to do this in order to grow, to step out of my comfort zone, to do the next thing in my life, to do my soul's purpose, and to fulfill that, And if I were to stay stuck in a place that I built, that I was like, oh my gosh, like this is my baby. It's perfect. It's in good hands now. You know what I mean? Like, we have to remember that for ourselves. Like, you don't have to be in this fear-based mindset. You get to do whatever you want in your life.
Right. Like, leaning into that, you leaned into the fear. Like, that's a choice too.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, scary to a lot of people, but I think to some, like, that's where a lot of the freedoms are found. And whether you make it or not, like, you learned a lesson and you'll move on from it. Right. Like,
everything's a lesson.
The fear of not doing anything and looking back and regret. Like, I chose to live my life as if I died tomorrow, I'm content, I'm happy. It's like, the only thing I would be uncontent is like, I could have done so much more because I was doing. Right. I mean, skydiving, I was an instructor for many years, and jumping with like the Army Golden Knights and watching guys that they skydive at an extreme level. As soon as I got into it, I'm like, I'm cool. This is it. And then I watch these guys doing it at an ultra high level, and I'm like, I want to do that. Right. So, but of course it was terrifying. Like, people were like, why are you jumping up? Because it scares me, exactly. Leaning into that fear typically is where a lot of those lessons are found. And it doesn't only affect you in that specific realm, but you're going to get scared by something else that's going to come up soon. And now you've got to Polaroid in your brain and say, wait a minute, I was scared, I leaned into it. I'm not saying make stupid decisions. Like, if something, if you're putting yourself in a dangerous position unnecessarily, that's dumb. There needs to be risk versus analysis. And I think the fire service taught me a lot of that. I was, young into my 18, 19, 20 years old, jumping out of airplanes, it was send it. Whatever happens. And then I found like that's what I thought dealing with fear really was. And then I learned in the fire services, you probably learned in the military, which was you can train really, really hard to mitigate a lot of risks if you understand, research, study, and work at some of these things that really, life is no different. If starting a business scares you, research the hell out of it. If leaving your job and getting into a new career, going back to school, like, research the hell of it. Tell yourself why you shouldn't do it. If exercise and like being uncomfortable and like, we hear that all the time walking in the gym, like, I thought everybody was going to be in shape, and I thought we're all here to do the same thing, right? Like, and I think
to better ourselves.
So that fear, like, and I always ask people, like, what made you come in the door? I had a guy not too long ago. He said he sat in the parking lot, and we do on our social media, we do a motivational Monday on Mondays, and it's normally just me talking for 60 seconds, and people are like, it's like you have a microphone in my house or in my head. We all deal with these things. But he had sat in the parking lot for like 40 minutes just watching them on repeat to get enough energy and get over the fear to walk in the door. And he like burst by somebody in line and sat down and said, I need to sign up right now. I just need to get a gym membership. Because he needed to just kind of lean into that and ended up losing like 70 pounds and like really sticking with it, became part of his life.
Feeling so much better about himself.
Right. And even if he just like completely moved on, if he never worked out again, that experience was still a beneficial one, and he leaned into that fear. That what was the risk? The risk is like not feeling good enough or feeling like you're failing. It's not like end of life risk. Right. So I think that fear sometimes really dictates our choices. And it goes back again to the same thing where people are, if I worked in that industry, I'd be able to do it too. Great. Do it.
Yeah, do it.
What's stopping you? I'm hiring right now. You can turn in an application process.
You guys hear that, right? All right. You got it. All right. Have you personally noticed significant changes in your mental health through your fitness practices, and what routines have made the most impact on you?
Oh man. So for me personally, it's 1% better every single day. I'm never satisfied. That can be, to some view it as unhealthy, but for me, it's a very safe place, healthy place for me to be. I'm very adamant. It's an active decision, but pushing my body to its capability limit.
Not satisfied, but happy.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. I mean, why not be happy?
Right.
Like, what am I going to be happy when I can complete the goal? Like, why wait?
Right.
Like, just be happy now while you're in the process of it.
That's something that I've had to, change for myself is like, I would always chase success, like chasing something more. Because I was like, that's where happiness for me was at. Like I'm not happy until I get to the next thing. And I've come full circle now where I'm like, I can still chase and I could still, start to, follow my path and my interest and my excitement, but still be happy in the moment. Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you're all good. That's actually right on to what I was going to say, because I think it's like doing new things. Sometimes you get that same feel like, oh, I'm getting better, right? I'm accomplishing. So, 2-3 mornings a week, I'm typically swimming along with some like recovery work. And then the other mornings I'm typically either road running or trail running. And then workouts on the back end of that, stretching every single morning. That's non-negotiable. Strength training, typically 7 days a week. I do my nutrition, supplementation, all those things are based around that activity level. And I've had to really fine tweak what works for me at this point in my life. Like younger, 19, it was send it till it breaks, right? And just like with risk, it's like you can do the same thing with exercise with risk of injury and just really reduce the risk. I can get hurt tomorrow, but I would just change what I do. Like, and I'm sure there's people out there that's like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of watching him run or hearing his, crap and all this stuff, blah, 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 run, get better, blah. And if I blew my knee out, like I'm sure it'd make some of them happy, but the reality is I'd just be back in the pool the next day. I'd just be doing something different.
But
right?
to that point, this is something I've learned for myself is you're going to piss some people off. You're going to irritate some people, but that's okay because they're not your people, right? They're not the people. If you can fully step into your authenticity, you can fully step into your power and who you are, share your story, share your wisdom, share your information, because that frequency is going to align people who need you to
Absolutely.
you, right? Yeah. And so you're right. I mean, you're right. Like it's okay. Like some people, it doesn't faze you. Like, some people are mad at me. They'd probably be happy if I blew my knee out, but it's okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's, if my story or if anything I do ever inspire somebody, that's great, but that's not the purpose, right? The purpose is me. Like there is no bigger purpose than the life that I choose to live. It does tend to help people and that's great, but they don't have to do what I do to find that same happiness. They just need to find their version of it, right? And then you got the alter side of that of like, people that maybe haven't found that fulfillment or don't want to believe that hard work will get you there. And so then it's the finger pointing and the, trolling and all that. And honestly, years and years ago, it used to bother me. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I want to help people. So like, of course I want people happy, but it's not my responsibility to make people happy. It's my responsibility to help people. Whether they choose to be happy or not is on them. And
the best way to help somebody, right, is to help yourself.
Absolutely.
Because if you can't help somebody if you're not helping yourself.
Nurturers by nature suck at this. People like you and I had to learn that. I would say 10 to 12 years ago, I really started to study and research like a true life of a nurturer. And, fireman, personal trainer, coach, it's all about helping people. The I guess, powerful question I ask myself is, am I truly giving these people my best if I'm not at my best? And that doesn't mean they do what I do. It's that I do what I do at such a high level that if it helps you, great. If it doesn't, I move on, right? And it's like, but taking care of me becomes a priority so that I can prioritize others, because you can't, you just keep filling that empty glass. And nurturers, mothers, oh my goodness.
And fathers.
Oh, yeah, I see it more with mother. Like I have to give women permission to exercise after they've had a kid. Like they think they're in there getting their nails done. I'm like, you're taking care of yourself so that you can take care of your child.
Yeah.
And they really struggle to oh, I left my child at home, or like, but my husband, he just got home from work. It's his kid too. He'll be fine. Yeah. Right. I see that with fathers too. Yeah. At times I see it more consistently with women, especially new mothers, that have a natural nurturing nature. It's like taking care of themselves is whatever's left. That should be the exact opposite. Yeah. Because you're not being the best mom, you're not being the best husband, spouse, supportive coach, whatever, if you're not taking yourself at a high level. So again, that's why it happens. Less things come up at 5:30 in the morning. Let's be honest, right? So that should be the time, like at least for me and for most people, that we dedicate that time to taking care of ourselves, whatever that looks like, so that then you can take care of others and then you repeat that cycle. But that's an active choice, right? It's not, it sounds back to discipline and you're doing the same thing every day. Yeah, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Because you're 100% right. And this is what I teach my clients too. Like if you cannot give on an empty cup. Like you can't just keep pouring yourself out. And, these women, and I mostly have health coaching like clients that are women, but they're so drained. They're so like, just, they can't give anymore. And then they have depression, they have anxiety, they have all these things that are going on, and, health issues, chronic disease, autoimmune conditions, but it's because they're not filling their cup. They're not giving themselves permission to be the best version of themselves. And it's so important. All of us, men, women, children, all of us, we need to be the best version of ourselves. If you want to change the world, change yourself.
Yep.
Like, literally, you get to be this beacon of light for other people when you work on yourself. I have some family members who, they are always on the news, watching the news. Like, did you see what so-and-so did? Or this is happening now. And I'm like, and what can you do about it? What can you do about it? Like, nothing. So, but you're so chronically stressed over it. So go focus on you. Take that time that you're watching the news and you're so stressed on something that you can't control. Take that time to go take a bubble bath.
Yeah.
Put some oil on your body. Like, maybe you give yourself an oil massage. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you drink some warm lemon water, clean out your liver a little bit. Like, do something for yourself. Those little things that are not filling your cup, swap them.
But it's behavior, it's pattern. It's what they're used to.
Yes.
And that's interrupting that pattern, I think, as a behavior coach, it's one of the very first things I focus on. I haven't really found a way to do it unaggressively. It's got to be a massive change to the environment. So to give an example, we had a client that, she was working on weight loss, coming home because she worked, very hard worker, worked out hard in the gym, worked out hard at work, left at 5 a.m, went to Madison early so that she could leave early, come back. She'd come straight home, train 4 days a week, come into the gym on her own. She wasn't seeing the results that she had thought. And so we really had to break down some patterns. And what she didn't even realize is, like, she'd had this super stressful day at work, come to the gym, push even harder, go home and want to cook dinner and have a beer every single night with dinner. Didn't even realize that she was having it. So it wasn't like, don't have the beer. It was like, why are you having it? Oh, I didn't even realize I was having it. To the point where she was even buying it at the grocery store, and it was so patterned into her, she was just unconscious.
Predictable future.
Right. Yeah. So like, okay, well, this is what's going to continue. So what is it? Aggressive change to the environment. So everything else stays the same. When you're eating dinner, after you've eaten dinner, I want you to take a 20-minute walk. Nice 20-minute walk, come back, have a glass of water. If you still want the beer, have it. If you don't, move on with your life. But then it's like, now it's a active choice versus a behavior pattern.
Yeah.
And she'd have it now maybe once, twice a month versus 5 days a week during the work weeks, right? Just pattern interruption. And sometimes environment is like the best. That's why the gym can be good. It's a massive interruption to that environment that's, I hate my life. I hate this. I'm not good enough as a parent. I'm not good enough as a worker. I'm not good enough as a spouse. All this negativity. And it's like, you get into the gym and it's like all these good feelings. But I think what sometimes pushes people away is like, you have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And that has to be also become a behavior, and it takes work. And unfortunately, we're so preconditioned to like quick fixes. That's why 6 minutes abs is so powerful. It's like, oh, I can get abs in 6. Nobody gets abs in 6 minutes.
Right.
And nobody keeps them like that. Like it's a consistent priority, and it's going to dictate your nutrition, your sleep, your exercise, all those things. But I really believe we're not really built to receive this high amount of information that we're thrown at nowadays.
Hallelujah.
Especially on like smartphones and news and all these things. And unfortunately, most of it's not good. That's why I started Motivational Mondays. Let's just put something positive out in the world for 60 seconds. Like, I'm not on social ever, but I post that Monday just to put a message out there for people. But that massive amount of information, our brains aren't just really ready to receive it. There's a really interesting book, the Hard Rewiring of the Human Mind. It's The Anxious Generation. And it talks about the effects of like the information age and smartphones on what we were seeing, like in your and I's time, like college students, massive amounts of depression, anxiety, suicide rates spiking, now to that same transition equally down all the way to the middle school. Well, of course, look at who now has these tablets on them that are like self-mirrors.
Listen to this, Samuel Goodman. He wants a cell phone so bad. I'm like, no, over my dead body. I'm not giving you a cell phone.
We're not designed, especially at that age, we're just not designed to have it. And so then when you introduce it, it's no wonder that a lot of these undiagnosed and then like unexplainable massive psychological needs and issues are arising. And so like that information, like if you have priorities, like it's easy to kind of block those things out. Like if I find I'm spending too much time that's not dedicated towards my faith, family, or fitness, it's like it goes. And that may sound kind of cold, but like the reality is this is my life. And it's like, that's how I choose to live. That's not the norm. Your friends are going to be talking about these things, and you're going to FOMO miss out on like different, but Facebook, is that real?
No,
it's a quick snapshot of somebody's life in 60 seconds. And very rarely does anybody show the bad shit.
No,
it's typically all the good things, right? And so you're like, oh, I'm not living up to that person's standard.
Yeah.
And I think that further drives that fear of like wanting or being able to make a change because you're trying to measure up against something that's not actually real. And then all the information you're getting is typically negative because that's what sells. So I think it's a combination of those two things that really have a negative impact on people. So that's another big change people could make, just shutting that stuff out or like really like putting a timer on your phone. You know, years ago, this is 15, 20 years ago, training, one of the very first, when the smartphones app, one of the apps that came out was like a time tracker. And it would show you how much time you spent on, like, remember MySpace? Oh my God, MySpace. Yeah. So Facebook was out at the time, and like email, text, phone, and it showed you. And people at that point, even, this was 20 years ago, mind you, spending 8 to 10 to 15 hours a day on social media, and social media was still brand new. That's a full-time job. Mm-hmm. Like, if that time could be dedicated towards something else, then, and that's, again, about asking that questions when people are like, I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time for wellness. Well, let's talk about how you do spend your time.
Let's check your phone.
Let's check that. Like, let's go through those things.
Yeah, so, we won't do that, but
yeah, my email will be high. I'll tell you right now. My email probably way too
business.
much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
How do you perceive the relationship between your physical? Oh, actually, I already asked you that one. Hold on one second. Let me change it over to the next one. I ask you like a couple more. What advice would you share with our listeners who are looking to enhance their overall health and wellness in their everyday life?
Oh man,
we kind of talked about
this
simple,
but decide. You have to choose. You know, it's not an easy choice, but it's a simple one. And is it going to cost you some things? Absolutely. It will. I will tell you flat out, you will have to create sacrifices in your life, and it may ruffle relationships. But that's where it's just like being open with people that are important to you and close to you will probably support you in it. Like, I need to make this choice because I need to, not watch as much TV, or I need to go to the gym, or I need to start walking after dinner and just like reset my mind, or I want to do hiking more, all those kind of things. Those that are close to you and actually truly care about you will support those things, and they'll make necessary changes to be able to do so too. But I think that's honestly, a lot of times it's just like a justification lie we tell ourselves of like, my family schedule wouldn't allow it. Did you ask? Mm-hmm. Did you try? How about, you're spending 2.5 hours at night binge watching The Office, which you've seen 6 times. Mm-hmm. Like, what about that time? Well, that's my me time. Well, exactly. But what is that, like you said before, what is that actually doing for what you're trying to achieve? I think people that are living a super happy, healthy, full life, like, keep doing what you're doing. But typically when they come to you and it's like, something's not aligned, something's not right. And so that requires change, and people resist change kicking and screaming, as do children, right? Like, we're all children deep down inside anyways. So like, that's a resisting change and leaning away from fear is typical human nature. So deciding is the biggest thing. And then surround yourself with people that are doing it at an ultra high level. I never want to be yes, there's plenty of things I want to be the best at, but like, I always try to put myself in a room of people that are doing it at a higher level, because it's only going to make me better.
100%. I like kind of live by that. Like, I'm like, yeah. I always do the same thing, like trying to find somebody who I inspire to be like, or just somebody who's doing it better than me. Like,
but you probably don't just do what they're doing. And I think that's what a lot of people do. They're like, well, I got to do exactly what they're doing. No, you're just taking from it and adding to your life. And so surround yourself with people that are doing. It's not
lowering my frequency. I want my frequency to be higher. So I'm going to continue to work on myself so that I can be the best person for myself and have the best life that I possibly can. And in return, like, that's also going to shine a light for other people. Right. Same thing. So that puts in another question too. Have you noticed, working on yourself, you kind of already said this, but working on yourself for me, like working on me and like really just focusing on my joy, my happiness, my health, my spirituality. Like, have you seen friends like kind of dwindle away, family members not talk to you anymore? Yeah. Yeah.
But like, just like I have, one of my best friends, name drop, Jordan Ponder, B Dynamic Fitness, Milwaukee. Just throwing that out there for you, bud. One of my best friends in the world, and he captain of the Milwaukee Fire Department. Guy's accomplished anything he's ever set his mind out to. If Jordan sets his mind to it, he does it. But we can go 8 months, 10 months without talking to each other, and then it's like we had dinner the other night, and it was like we were with each other even yesterday. Nothing really changes. So those people that are truly meant to be in your life, that are close with you, that are also probably doing the same thing, understand and get it. When people want to see you do better. They just don't want to see you do better than they're doing. So when you exceed that level, that tipping point for people that are close in your life, and it's not a negative nature, but like, they don't want to be lonely. So they're going to try to pull you back down and like, no, wait, what are you doing? And like, oh, Yeah, are you sure you're okay? This sounds unhealthy and like you're getting obsessive. And I've heard that way too many times, and I think it does shrink your circle. But man, when that circle is tight, you can rely on blood and death that those people will be at your side, and they'll also understand. And so find those people that you can go 6 months without talking to, and you pick up like it's yesterday, and there's no guilt or like, it's just like, I'm living my life, you're living yours. And a lot of times we come together and that time we spend is just amazing. Like we were sitting just talking till 9:30. Jordan and I did a conference. Firefighters are notorious for like, just as military, pound drinking till 4 a.m. and then wake up at 6 a.m. and like hit it hard, right? And go work out.
Yeah.
Jordan and I are teaching at a national conference in the national conference in Indianapolis, and like all these firefighters are going out, and we're both kind of instructors there, and we sat out in front of a hotel and talked till 2 a.m. Like neither of us drink, so like we're kind of, and they're just, these guys are bombed. And at 6 a.m. we were tired from talking.
Yes,
that was it. But we spent 6, 7, 8 hours just talking about life and our lives, and like trying to puzzle to piece together. So, what could I learn from that? And and part of it was work based. Like, how can we help these firefighters? He does the same thing, and like on the fitness side too. And it just spiraled into something deeper, right?
Meaningful, deep conversation. Right. Yeah.
And so like, I'd rather have that one time than somebody that I meet with every day and really don't even have a conversation with.
You'd have like this 3D conversation. How's the weather? How's the kids?
Right.
How's
like
the job?
We, and I feel that same way in a significant other. Like my girlfriend and I, like we will have conversations about life. And I think that's, it's important for me, it's important for her. But it doesn't have to be a significant other to be able to have deep seated conversations with. So don't get so mad when, people tend to, I don't say float away, but like to just come farther on the outside of the circle, and it's like, it doesn't negate the time that you spent prior with them. It just meant at this current point in your life and the new journey that you're taking, you're also opening yourself up to new people that may inspire you in a totally different way. Yeah. And the ones that are meant to be there will be. I mean, I've known you for how long? 13 years, 12, 13 years, something like that.
Yes.
Picked you up on literally, do you want a job? I met you as a member and it was, do you want a job? And we've had an awesome relationship. And I've called and shared business stuff with you, personal stuff with you. You've done the same with me over those years. And I bring my team out and you kick the crap out of us for a day. Like that's like, there's a great relationship there, but it doesn't always have to be consistency. It doesn't always have to be like every single week. Khrystyna, do you need anything? You got anything going on? Hey, you got to help with this? Like it was just like, hey, you want to be on a podcast? Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we talked for 20 minutes before we even put the mics on, right? And
I know my husband's probably like, where is she?
What is she doing? I thought it was a 30-minute podcast. 3.5 hours later, it's like, what happened?
Well, that's you're 100% right. I think, like even, so if you continue to work on yourself, like the right people are going to be in your life. The right people you're going to attract the right people. The people who are not meant to be in your life in this moment are not going to be in your life, and that's okay. And the people you haven't seen for a long time who are continually doing the work, like your friend in Milwaukee, like myself, like you, you continue to do that work, then it's easy to kind of like pick up and like just go about life. Like, hey, how's it going? What are you doing? Wow, that's incredible. Like keep doing that work because it's like you can see each other.
Yep.
On a completely different level, if that makes sense. I
am spoiled. I'm going to lie. I cheated. I completely cheated. I built a work environment that's like that. So like all my staff is like that. Like we all push each other. There's times we ruffle each other's feathers, but like we all hang out outside of work too. Yeah. And it's like, I cheated because I built an environment but you can do that too. Like it doesn't have to be just at work. Right. Some people don't get to have that option, but I was able to build that at work, and it's the same people I hang out with when I'm not at work. So I think that circle, man, a big dictator of what your life is going to look like, I think is really the expectations of the people you put around you. Because if it's like to pull you down, I will guarantee you, or keep you where you're at or keep them where they're at, that will have a certain life pattern versus those people that are constantly, high expectations of you to get better, to grow, to do new things, to challenge, I think it really does dictate what your life will look like later. So who you put yourself around is extremely important. This is saying, I can tell you who you are by the 5 people you hang out with the most. And I think that statement does hold pretty true. So like, I think who's in your life is a very important decision of what's going to reflect what your life actually looks like.
I agree.
So.
Yeah. All right. So looking ahead, what upcoming projects or initiatives in the fitness or wellness field are you most excited about?
Holy moly. You
your
want
last
like
question.
year 1, year 5, year 10, dude,
No,
this doesn't
just
stop. Like I've got so many, I could like this, we could go on for hours with all these things.
We'll do a short one.
Yes. Okay. So I'm not really into the whole fitness hacks idea. Like I get what people are saying at that, but I think I think wellness is truly the future of all fitness. Gym owners out there, listen to me. If you're a gym owner listening to this, if you're not investing in wellness, your business will not make it. Like wellness is the key of future. The customers have really dictated that. And I love the education around wellness nowadays. It is a word that 10 years ago, people thought it meant yoga or like sleeping. Now, like really understanding even the wellness technology that's out there and understanding patterns. So, really having the space to do wellness at a higher level, even a clinical level. I have 2 nurses that work for me. One that does nurse coaching, very similar to you and Tennille with health coaching. She just does it as a clinical level, so she's able to coach on medications and all these kind of things. She's a dual threat because she's a personal trainer too. So really expanding that footprint in our business. We've made some awesome collaborations, even with like the hospital, and creating some network opportunities and growing within Sauk County in the wellness side. So. I would say that's the thing I'm most excited about, and I think most fitness professionals should really start to educate and learn on is like all the forms of wellness and see what fits best for like your community. So like what I would do for my community is very different from the wellness aspect that I would use for my tactical community. They're similar. There's definitely some crossover, but there's some things in those realms that I think we're just now starting to break the surface on, of treatment plans, of holistic care. I think a lot of the nutrition is definitely absolutely supplementation. All those things are going to come into play. And I'm excited to see, I'm going to be a part of it. And I'm very excited to see kind of what the next 10 to 15 years look like on the wellness/fitness side. So, and keynote to anybody that works with Khrystyna, whatever she told you is right, by the way. If you do work with Khrystyna, continue to work with Khrystyna. If you haven't and you're thinking about it, this is like lean into that fear and sign up. It's worth it. I can say that from a pure character standpoint, but also from her knowledge and her care for people. Like, just sign up. Sign that she is the definition of what I would call wellness. So
thank you so
not
much.
just in your own life, but what I watched you do with clients over these years. It's incredible. I still talk to people. I saw Mike Federley the other day.
Oh, yeah.
A memory came up on my phone of like him with his shoes kicked off, laying on the ground, crying. I think it was pretty close because he said he didn't really want to train with a woman. Like, no offense. And I said, I'll bet you a deal. You train with Khrystyna once, and if it's not what you want, I'll pay for the session. And I'm pretty sure 20 minutes in, he was on the ground saying, I respect you. I'm so sorry. I respect, and trained with you for a very long time after that. So yeah, it was good.
And he even coached for me.
Yeah. I mean, then he turned into an employee. So yeah, I ran into him at a volleyball outing the other day,
funny.
and we laughed about that, and he kind of giggled. Yeah, she sure did. Yeah, she sure did. So
I love that. Well, and same goes for you. Everything that you do, I mean, full believer in everything that you do. You take care of your people. You take care of your clients. You love the people that you take care of. You are a true nurturer, and you do the work, and you do the work on yourself and with your family, and it shows. Like you truly care. You're not in this realm for the money. Like that's not what it is.
It's a byproduct.
It's for you. It's to really change the world, change the community, change the people that you're helping, and to just help them to step into their power, to step into their full power, so that they can feel their very best and do it on a bio-individual level. It's not a program. You're not selling a program. You are helping people and meeting them right where they're at. And I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
You did such a good job.
I appreciate it.
You're doing such a good job.
I've been around a lot of good people, so it just keeps me challenged to get better every single day.
Well, thank you so much for being on
Absolutely.
This podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Driving out to Reedsburg.
Oh, yeah, it was a haul, I'll tell you. And to all your listeners, I mean, just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Keep striving to getting better, and listen to Khrystyna. That's my drop of wisdom today. Listen to Khrystyna.
And Motivational Mondays on.
Yeah, you can pop in there. 60 seconds of me typically screaming at a camera right after either a lift session, a long trail run, sometime where I am transcending my mind. And it's me talking about things that I deal with in my mind, and I know everybody else does there. So just trying to put a different perspective on it. So happy to help. You don't have to sponsor it or anything. Like it, share it, do that kind of stuff so it grows. But yeah, just happy to help people.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
you
and your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.